All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to start by giving all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachak Kodash. Double honors to the elders, the apostles of Great Millstone, whom I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the hopefully elect, shalom. And I just want to do, just a quick lesson, quick, testimony through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shemel Shai. As things ramp up, as these prophecies increase, as we see the oncoming of Jacob's trouble, the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to, remove us from certain situations. Remove us from, from wicked Jake. All right, because the Lord is getting ready to judge them. All right, the Lord is getting ready to judge the 2/3, and he doesn't want us, around the wicked 2/3. Okay, because the apartment complex that I lived in, was mainly full of wicked, wicked jakes. All right, smoking weed, just hanging out, not doing anything productive. Okay, committing adultery, just being, all out wicked, man. All right, and how about Shimon Shai, allow me to, move, allow me to get away from, that situation, man. All right, and that is a form, of Yahweh Shimon Shai, working, man. Yahweh Shimon Shai, delivering us from certain situations. Okay, and if you Akim, you Aqua, if you live around Jake, man. All right, hey, do your best to if you can, get into a better living area, better a living situation, man, versus being around a bunch of wicked ass jakes. All right, being in the in the so-called hood, man. All right, if you got the means to move to a better area, with some some, even if it's around heathen, man, that have, some sort of, sense, man. Okay, do so if you can. All right, this is Jeremiah 3:14, and it reads, "Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord Yahweh, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion." All right, so the Yahweh Shemar Shai is he's only dealing with a small remnant, a small few. All right, this is why you may be the only one uh, in your family, one or two, okay, in your family, who's been given this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, who has this truth, who believes in the Lord. All right, your family, the people you work around, the people you live around, they don't believe in the Lord, man. They believe in Esau Edom ultimately. Okay, whether it's in the form, of sweet Jesus. Okay, whether it's in the form of his science. Okay, whether it's in the form of his AI. It all goes back to Esau Edom. All right, at the end of the day. Okay, and the Lord is going to remove you, from he's going to remove you from your family. He's going to remove you from certain situations, or whether it be living situations like I was explaining. Okay, like I was saying, hey, send up those prayers, man, for the Lord. If you do live in a a bad area, so to speak, where it's a lot of, it's a lot of Jake, it's a lot of niggas. All right, because Jake has no morals. Jake has no decency to them, man. They become a degenerate plant. All right, like the scriptures say, and it'd be best to get away from, to get from around them. To get from around those wicked Jakes, man. Because Jake, Jake doesn't know quietness, man. Jake, you come home from work, busting your behind, and all you want is some peace and quiet. Which we're underneath the curses. All right, you're not gonna fully get it, but you know what I mean. You want to just relax, okay? Let your spirit, do some reading, all right, watch some videos. And you can't even do that around Jake, man. All right, Jake got their music all loud, riding in their cars, blasting that nigga music. All right, cigarettes, you can't even chill, on a balcony, man, and enjoy your balcony. If you have an apartment, you live around Jake, you gotta smell weed and cigarettes. All right, hear a whole bunch of folly and laughing. Okay, Jeremiah 3:15, and I will give you pastors according to my heart. All right, which the Lord has done. All right, the elders, the apostles, starting with the elder Abba Bivens, okay, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. All right, and Jake has no understanding, man. Okay, this is why it's best. Like I said, if you can get from around wicked Jakes, all right, and get into a better living situation, uh, do so. Okay, don't living around Jake, man, is hell within itself. Jeremiah 5:26. For among my people, who are the Lord's people, the Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, starting with the tribe of Judah, the so-called American blacks, found for among my people are found wicked men. All right, Jake is wicked, man. Okay, Jake is wicked. All right, there is no other explanation on how to explain the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right, Jake is just gone. Jake is pure wicked, man. Okay, Jake has no limits when it comes to wickedness. All right, when Jake is a homo, all right, the Jake man, he takes it to the extreme. Okay, when that's just one example. They wait as he that setteth snares, they set a trap, they catch men. Right, Jake is always trying to trap each other up. Okay, Jake is always looking to do some harm to each other. Okay, via the curses. This is why it's best to, if you can, get from around niggas, man. Get from around Jake. Okay, move. If hey, the economy right now is pretty, it's pretty tough, man. It's not much work. Jobs aren't really paying that much. But if you can, all right, try to get into a better living situation. You should, work some extra hours, all right, to afford a better living space, and it's not hindering, you reading, you studying, you doing the work too much. Hey, do it, man. As a cage is full of birds, or their house is full of deceit. Okay, that's all Jake do is lie, man. Jake just want to hear theyself fucking talk, man. Therefore, they are become great and waxing rich. Okay, Jake is spoiled here in America, man. Jeremiah 5:28, they are waxing fat, they shine, yea, they overpass the deeds of the wicked. All right? Who's the wicked? Esau, Edom. Jake overpasses Jake is more wicked than Esau, man. Okay? Yeah, Esau's a wicked individual. Okay? Esau is the wicked. Okay? He does a lot of wickedness, all right, especially in the dark. But Jake overgoes Esau in a lot of cases, man. All right, this is why, when you go to these different neighborhoods where you see, mainly the heathen or Esau, it ain't that bad, man. All right, the neighborhood that the Lord has allowed me to move to. Okay, it's quiet. It is more peaceful. My spirit. I can already feel my spirit rejuvenating. All right, you live around Jake, man. You feel that constant negativity. You feel that constant, pressure, man. You feel that constant stress. All right, having to always be on edge because Jake is wicked. They judge not the cause of the fatherless, yet they prosper, and the right of the needy do they not judge. Okay, Jake has no judgment. Jake just does what the fuck they want to do. All right, hey, at least among some of these heathen, different, Ishmael, things of that nature. All right, Moab, they got some morals to them. All right, they ain't gonna just fucking do anything, man. They have a so-called image to uphold. Okay, and this is why ultimately, if you can, while we're still here in this kingdom, if you can, live around, the heathen, man. Okay, they are our enemy. You got to watch yourself around them as well. But at least you get, some sort of, decency, man. All right, so to speak. Ephesians 5:11, and it reads, "Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness." All right, the Lord doesn't want us around wicked jakes. Okay, they're in the dark, man. Okay, they're in the works of darkness. Okay, Jake is in gross darkness, man. But rather reprove them. All right, tell this is a form of reproving. All right, these lessons that the elders and the apostles do. Okay, the men on down. These are reproving. This is reproving Jake. Okay, but we aren't. The Lord doesn't want us around wicked 2/3, man. Okay, you see, hey, when I see niggas, I go the other way. All right, when I see niggas, all right, I immediately keep it short and simple. Okay, hey, what's up? What's up, bro? All right, yep. And that's it, man. Keep it moving, cause Jake is wicked, man. Especially when it comes to their own people. Jake is always looking to, fuck up another Jake. That's the curses. Matthew 23:29. It reads, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites." Okay, and this is the spirit of the wicked 2/3. The wicked 2/3, man. They're hypocrites, man. All right, hey, a nigga will tell you he's a Christian. He goes to church every Sunday, but 2 seconds later he'll pull out a Newport and start and light that bitch up, man. All right, or pull out a Swisher and put some weed inside of it. Okay, he'll tell you he's a Christian, and 2 seconds later, he got the end up on the phone, and he's ready to go commit adultery, man, because he built the tombs of the prophets and garnished the sepulchres of the righteous, man. All right, Jake hates the prophets. Okay, this is why you see all these videos with Jake, coming up against this truth, Matthew 23:30, and say, if we had been in the days of our father, we would have not been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. All right, this is what wicked Jake be saying, man. We wouldn't have did nothing to the prophets, man. But these are the same niggas that if they could, especially, man, when Jake find out, Jake gets wind you're part of the Hebrew Israelites. All right, all hell's gonna break loose, man. Jake gonna be mugging you. Jake gonna be trying to find a way to really ultimately to fuck you up. All right. Matthew 23:31. Wherefore ye be witnesses unto yourselves that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets. Okay, Jake is wicked. All right, and through the spirit, they know Jake know whose we are. They know who we are, man. Through the spirit, you ain't gotta say you don't gotta say what you a part of. You don't have to say you're a Hebrew Israelite. You don't have to say that you preach the word. Okay, you preach this Hebrew Israelite ministry. Jake already knows through the spirit. Okay, I lived around before I moved to where I moved to now. I lived around a bunch of wicked niggas, man. Okay, and through the spirit, they know it's something different about us, man. All right, and Jake be sizing you up. Matthew 23:32. Fill ye up then the measure of your fathers. Okay. Matthew 23:33. Ye serpents, ye generation of vipers. All right. This is Jake. This is Jake all day, man. Jake is treacherous, and it'd be best if you could to get from around Jake, man. Especially in these times, the Lord is getting ready to start judging niggas, man. All right, you don't want to be around, when the Lord brings that judgment. All right, and before I moved out of the apartments that I moved out of, a little Issacharite boy got kidnapped, man. Okay, it's just best to get from around niggas, man. How can you escape the damnation of hell? All right, The Lord's getting ready to bring hell to you niggas, man. All right, and we don't want no parts of that. When it off here, Jeremiah 30:7, and it reads, "At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble." Okay, we're in Jacob's trouble. It ain't coming. We in it. All right, and the Lord is getting ready to fuck Jake up, man. Okay, so if you can, like I said, man, you can get from around. If you live around a bunch of Jake, you know what I'm saying. Those, certain demographics, those certain areas where it's a lot of niggas. Hey, man, try to get into a better area if you can. Okay, but he shall be saved out of it. Okay, the elect, the hopefully elect, which we believe we're a part of, and we hope to be a part of. Man, the Lord is going. He's going to deliver us out of certain situations. Ultimately, Jacob's trouble in a whole, but even before it fully kicks off, man, hey, the Lord is gonna remove you. If He's gonna remove you from certain situations, all right, that are going to be where trouble's gonna come, man. All right, anywhere wicked 230 is going trouble's gonna be coming. All right, so like I said, man, but to pray to Yahweh Shema Shai, if you live, in an area that's not so great, pray Yahweh Shema Shai remove you from the area, man. But with that, we'll close the lesson out. But willing, it was edifying. Till next time, Shalom.